Hello, my name is Megan Turley, and this is my specialization capstone on worms. So what is a worm? No, not that kind of worm. I mean the type of worm that can infect networks. This type of malware can replicate itself to spread across entire networks without any user intervention. They do this by exploiting vulnerabilities in operating systems. These worms can cause widespread damage by consuming network bandwidth like in a DDoS attack, or carry out destructive actions such as deleting files or installing additional malware. They propagate quickly and efficiently, making them a significant threat. So how do they work? Well, let me show you. In this demonstration, I will show you how I created a worm. First, I started by making a Python file. What this file will do when activated is spread across the selected network via SSH connection and copy itself on the remote host. If the victim has a file called passwords.txt in the home directory, it will obtain the file and send it back to the system of the attacker. So, down here I have given the worm a network address to attack, and then at the bottom here I have activated the worm. But let me show you up here. This is how we will make our SSH connection using the Paramiko module. And then it will iterate over all of the hosts. And up here we can see what credentials the worm will try to use to enter into each system. If the connection succeeds, it will create an SCP client, and then it will retrieve that passwords.txt file and send it back to the attacker. Here you can see that I have executed the worm file, and it has begun to spread across the network. Down here you can see that the worm has successfully connected to this remote host. This is the address that I assigned to my Metasploitable machine. And in that Metasploitable machine, I created a passwords.txt file, and sure enough, it was able to retrieve that file. And down here we can double check that, and sure enough, there's that file. As you can see, my worm was successfully able to penetrate the Metasploitable machine and receive that passwords.txt file. So how can we protect ourselves against these worms? First of all, you need to update your software. Regularly updating your operation systems, applications, and firmware to patch known vulnerabilities will prevent worms from using these vulnerabilities to infect your system. You can also implement network segmentation. By dividing your network into separate segments or VLANs, this can limit the spread of these worms. And lastly, you need to educate all of your users. Train employees on how to recognize phishing emails, suspicious links, and other common tactics used by worms to spread. But let's say that you are currently under attack by a worm. What should you do? Don't panic, but you need to act quickly. Let's start by containing the infection. Isolate all infected systems. Immediately disconnect any compromised systems from the network. You also need to shut down your vulnerable services. Once you've identified which exploit the attackers used, consider temporarily shutting it down to prevent any further exploitation. You also need to deploy security updates. Check if security patches or updates are available to address the vulnerability being exploited. And lastly, you can run antivirus scans. Use antivirus software to scan all systems for signs of infection. Remove any detected malware and quarantine infected files to prevent the spread. Once you've contained the infection, it's time to clean up. Start by restoring any affected systems from a clean backup. Then conduct a thorough investigation to determine how the worm gained access. Once you have conducted this investigation, you can then implement additional security measures to strengthen your defenses. Finally, if you can, consider reporting the attack to relevant authorities. These worms can spread fast, so other companies may still be at risk. In conclusion, worms are like a conglomerate of all the weapons in a hacker's arsenal. The creation of worms is a very simple process, and anyone with a basic knowledge of programming and understanding of networking can do it. As cybersecurity engineers, it is our job to ensure we can protect ourselves and our employers from these attacks. Thank you for watching.